Wow, the 20th day of August. That sounds weird rolling off the tongue. 2024 at 8:30 a.m. Let the record reflect this meeting is posted according to Texas Government Code 551, better known as the Texas Open Meetings Act, and a quorum of commissioners is present and established. Moreover, this meeting is being held both in person and online. So if you were participating, you would need to have signed up by 8 a.m. this morning. Did anybody sign up to do online comments? Okay, well, that's all right. At this time, if we could invoke the blessing on the Almighty, Commissioner Lake, can I ask please?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the things that you do for us, and I'll ask you to bless Hill County and the people here and what happens in the county, just for the benefit of everyone. We thank you for the beautiful weather, and we're looking forward to the cooler weather starting tomorrow. And we thank you for everything that you just did.
Amen. Just on the pledge of American Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one indivisible. All right, thank you all very much. I don't know, there's days that having an inside job is no fun for a guy that was raised on the farm, but days like today, I'm so glad I have an inside job. If you guys are out and about, and I don't think anybody's broadcasting this over the radio or anything, please be safe out there today. We're looking at temperatures of 110 with heat index above 113, 114. This is the kind of weather that people get hurt in real quick. I tell you that because many years ago, I myself fell victim to heat stroke, and it is no fun in the after effects of that. So please be safe. Other than that, Commissioner Holcomb, what's happening in Precinct 1 today?
Well, we're gearing up and coordinating everything with our precinct 2 neighbors for the chip seals on 1414 South.
Good.
And that's going to start on Wednesday of next week. So we're going to do that Wednesday, Thursday.
Okay.
And we're going
And Friday,
It'll be a 3-day job. Gotcha.
your guys can work.
huh?
Your guys can work.
Okay. I think it's doing that. But we're doing, we got that decided, we're closing road
Okay.
from 9 o'clock to 2 o'clock on Wednesday.
Okay.
And we're gonna adhere to that pretty steadfast. And I'm gonna need more, maybe a deputy.
I would reach
To
out.
help with the traffic control, because we try and they just kind of laugh at us.
And we've had constables, some good success with constables helping. I think Mr. Gersh has been really good about moving around helping. And I know that we have the deputy constable, and he talked to Constable Armstrong. I'm sure they'd be willing to help too. So, but no, I'm glad to hear that. Mr. Crumpton, what's happening in Precinct 2 this morning?
Been still trying to haul some rock, picking the roads up when try to get them ready if it ever starts raining again, and been trying to get some shredding done.
Not the R word. No, let it be dry for a little bit.
And anyway, we're trying to get ready to help Jim up there next week. Like he said, that road is so narrow, and it's gonna have to be, traffic's gonna have to be controlled. And but we're go up there and help him next week.
Good deal. I appreciate it. Reach out to the Sheriff's Department. Commissioner Hawkins, what's happening in Precinct 3 this week?
Oh, flat grass and sea cane and dust.
Man, we have a sea cane crop this year that I haven't seen in some time.
And Johnson grass. That spring rain is showing us. Now, so got a big project starting hopefully next Tuesday on 171.
I've been hesitant to say anything because I don't, every time we open our mouth about state doing something on the road, it goes to pot.
Supposed to start that March the 2nd.
Uh-huh.
And we have pushed back till now, so hopefully this will be the day we get started.
So they're gonna start at Malone and go south, or Hubbard's and go north?
What they tell me is we're gonna start at 308 Malone.
Okay.
Go to 31 in Hubbard.
That's my understanding. Okay, so that's the same thing we're being told.
Whole thing needs it, but.
Yes, sir.
Before we're gonna start, hopefully we'll get that done.
That'll be good. I'll be happy to
If you
see.
get in a bind and need some truck, give me a call.
So you
Will do. Yes, sir.
Really not gonna cover anything
They're gonna take it down another
Uh-huh.
3 inches before they can cover it.
Yeah, it's,
Gotta cut the potholes out first. It's
At
amazing.
one time, they talked like it was supposed to be like 20, 30,000 tons.
It's an insane amount of material that's taken off that road.
It's a bunch.
Yeah. What's happening precinct 4, Commissioner Lake?
And we're just hauling gravel, trying to cover up spots that are pretty well down to the dirt.
Yeah.
And we've got several of those. We've had one grader trying to do ditches, and we probably got close to 100 miles worth of ditches to come out, so we won't get that done this year. And we needed drought for about 3 years.
No. I'll let the record reflect that was. Yeah.
We just put an
It's not on the agenda, but we might take a chance and vote and nobody in favor of that.
If you stand in drought, we don't need to clean them out.
Well, that's true. But I mean, but, you know, in the winter time, it gets wet, you can't do anything in it unless you want to bury it. Yeah, maybe we could have an annual burn ban.
No, we're bad enough to have them, we have to have them. Oh, good night.
What?
Oh, well, something else. Philip, what's happening in IT this week, sir?
Well, tomorrow we've got a technician planning from HID Global to replace the last game computer.
Oh, good.
This time. We're gonna dedicate pretty much all day tomorrow to that, and we've got all the, T's crossed and I's dotted, have to communicate with the state, we have to upload those fingerprints to DPS, and so, that's really the main thing is.
Okay, good deal. All right, cool. Tom, what's happening in emergency management?
We just got a lot of things going on, getting ready for this, audit, I think it's next week, in email. We've got it all paperwork in order for that. We've been quite busy as far as going out, being run out, flying.
Yes.
Really popular with drones underneath there.
Amazing, neither do I. It's fascinating. I mean, the drones have more common than I thought.
It's really been going, but, you know, thankfully enough, we haven't had a lot of fires. Comparatively to some of our surrounding counties, the people have been pretty good about not burning and causing stuff. I think people are aware that it's hot, it's dry, and they're using a little bit of common sense. So that can change when we leave here, but as of right now, we have it over, we're opinion.
I think it's been one of the easiest years in a couple of years for them. And not that it's easy, it's just not as much pressure as they have in years previous, I should say. Chief, what's happening in the SO? Oh, man, you sound so much better. I'm glad you're on board. Yeah. All right. Any much going on this week?
Yes.
Good deal. Miss Rachel, anything in the treasurer's office?
We did. We pulled the first day, all of them.
Right.
We had 100% at the end of the second day. Only 2 stragglers that is found that the period benefits, which was coverage. When I think about the month now, so now we're moving on to the back side of that, where we put everything in the budget book, we put everything in payroll, gearing up for those deductions to start in September for October coverages.
Wonderful.
Some business after that, business is normal.
All right, sounds great. Miss Susan, anything for the open forum this morning? Or anything to announce this morning before open forum, I should say?
Well, we're just rocking and rolling along.
I know I'm getting emails from you like 9 o'clock at night. I like temper that just a hair, but I appreciate everything you're doing for it. Dave, anything to share before we get moving along?
We've been on for pretty much 4 weeks in September in the middle of the month.
Okay.
I'm going to Alabama, Birmingham area. I got selected by the Secret Service today. They get the basic computer forensics class.
Awesome.
I went to the basic course in 2015. It was really good. And so I fly out on Sunday, I get back on Friday, and then the following week is my annual prosecutor conference. So
Congratulations, man. I'm really proud of you for doing it. That's what a notable achievement.
the federal government pays for every cent of it, so
Good deal.
I'm confident in that.
That's great. Thank you. All right, from this chair, I would say budget. We got a budget workshop. We'll talk about that during the budget workshop. I think we're just going to go ahead and move on in. I don't have a lot of commentary. It's been busy lately. If I'm tired, I apologize. I'm just not getting much sleep this time of year. It'll get better after next Tuesday. But at this time, is there anybody here for open forum that wishes to speak to the court? Yes, ma'am. If you could limit your comments to about 3 to 5 minutes in duration, as we respect you, so respect the court. And if I can ask, sorry, let me do this for you. Not trying to put anybody on the spot, but the folks at home, they can't hear if we're back there in the audience. So I've got to get people to come up. I didn't do this. If you can identify yourself for the record, we appreciate you.
Okay, my name is Chris Weston. I live on Mulholland Drive. And I moved in to a double wide mobile that was 3 years old that had been placed there. And I had no knowledge of the water issue out there. My home, particularly since the 2 real hard downfalls we've had, my front yard is completely underwater. And then it veers off to this, I have 2 pieces of property, it veers off. Neighbor across the street, it's coming from, as you're going towards the lake on Mulholland. On Mulholland Drive.
I'm sorry, I'm not familiar. I don't have.
Jim,
Jim may know, and
yes, he knows me. And so I'm here this morning to find, I have unfortunately, I have my home is being completely undermined by the water. And the house is going this way. I am going to have it leveled and the foundation redone. And it's a pretty penny.
Oh, sure.
But I also need the help of the county to get this water diverted as much as it can, because it just cascades over the road onto my property. About a month ago, I think it was, the water line broke right in front of the house, right on the corner. And it's like 3 feet down. So I got to thinking too, that back side of the house has a real problem. And doors are off, this sort of thing. So that has probably been leaking, obviously, for a long time. And that was, undermining the soil and stuff like this. So I just pleading and trying to find your schedule, if that is going to be to get this, to help me with this. And there's other neighbors across the street and stuff but it's a real, I'm gonna lose my house. And I have nowhere else to go. So anyway, perhaps you have some idea. I know you budget this sort of thing, but it's really, it's crucial. I know there's so many people out there that have, these same, I'm not the only person, so.
Yeah, we've really cranked down on subdivision rules because of some unscrupulous tactics by developers in the past and things like you're experiencing. The county doesn't have the authority to act now. But it's become apparent that for several decades, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, that the commissioner's court didn't do a very good job in this county of regulating subdivisions. And unfortunately, we're stuck with those decisions that were made and we try to live through it. But thank you for your comments. And if you'll hang around afterwards, we might be able to speak with the commissioner about it further. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Anybody else for open forum this morning? Go ahead. Come on up, Mr. Goins. Mr. Ken Goins, President ESD #1.
Here in the past,
I think he just
some
ignored you
of
and said
our
yes.
I think you did too.
have come up and said we don't have the right to enforce some of these rules.
Yeah.
This was put in this was written up by a man that was appointed the 1st of January.
Mhm.
He done some deep research in this.
Mhm.
And at the present time, I didn't even know where all of the rules came from.
Gotcha.
I would like to present them to the court so as the commissioners can understand what we have to go by.
Okay,
And we are working to ratify some of the problems that they think they have. Some of the laws that are in, that we have to go by, we cannot change because legislation changed them. And as we all know, the only way we're going to change them is to go to court to do that. But this will get the commissioners up to where we are
okay.
and what we go by. Now, Chad is not a professional, but he did a fantastic job on this. Thank you, sir. And I will get yours emailed to you.
Airmail that.
It's a long read, but it covers everything that we basically have to go by and when we have to go by.
Well, if you've highlighted, I guess, everything we need to read.
No, no.
It's a long read and it was hard digging at all of this stuff out, what we have to do.
Yeah. Well, I think it's wonderful that you've got board members, commissioners that are educating themselves on the law, and I appreciate you guys doing that. It's important anytime that we're operating in public service position that we understand what rules the state of Texas has put down for us. So
We are, like I said, we are, and there is a committee being formed next week to itemize what they think they want and what we can change and what we can change and everything else. We will work through that.
good deal.
What the law says of where our hands are tied, I'm not sure what we can do.
Well, I mean, you're right. Sometimes your hands are just tied by the law. And if they are, that's just got to show everybody what the law says. And if they don't like the law, we can give them the state representative's number and help them change it, but we do have to obey the law.
We have played the game with the politicians.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Anybody else for open forum this morning? If not, we're going to move right into our agenda. We have action on minutes, action on invoices, action on payroll, action on monthly report, revenue and disbursements. Almost got that out in one piece. Observe and record elected officials training certificates, which I really don't have any this morning that I saw. So that is the consent agenda. Is there any item that needs to be taken off for individual discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I think we had revenue and disbursement.
I think you're right too. So I'll tell you what, I'll make a motion that we approve minutes, invoices, payroll. How about that? Second, motion and a second to approve the consent agenda minutes, invoices and payroll this morning. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. I'm gonna send the motion around here. We have no wage status changes for this morning. That's a good sign. It means things are working in our favor. Number two, we have discussed and request proposals for multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan. Gentlemen, we previously went out for bid for this, and we got no response. It's scary. This hazard mitigation plan is required by the feds, by the state. If we are going to apply for grant funding of any sort, it needs to be something that's been identified in our hazard mitigation plan. We have to redo it about every 5 or 6 years. Last time we redid it, it took, well, I say 5 years. It took the state 2 years to approve our copy of it, which is ridiculous. Now, we do get grant funding to do this, so it's pass-through money. But at the same time, we've got to obey some federal rules on procurement that we have previously adopted as a board. So I'm asking you to send this RFP out again because of failure of response last time. What we've done is we've identified some new avenues through the website, basically, that we place this on, talk to some other counties and their best practices, try to get a little better notice out there. We will have to run this notice in the paper again as per statutes, but other words, I would say that we need to approve this request for proposal.
We lost change some language in it.
Mhm.
And it contains the proper language people look for.
Good. Glad to hear that. Second. I have a motion and a second to approve a request for proposals for multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan update. Is there any further discussion on this subject? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 3 is discuss and approve a communication system between Hill County and Abbott ISD. Well, Ken, this is just the folks from Abbott ISD getting onto our system. It's in the form that was previously approved by this commissioners court, as you guys can see. Chris, anything to this one? Oh, he's not there. There he is. Nice seeing.
I'm
You
there.
keep-
Sorry, just had to figure out it wouldn't unmute for me. No, so that's just the normal one that we do.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jackson. Appreciate it. Any questions regarding the emergency communication, mutual aid agreement, communication system between Hill County and Abbott ISD? All right, motion and second to approve. Is there any further question? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? Motion carried. There's that one signed, ma'am. Number 5 is discuss and approve a mutual aid agreement between Hill County and Hillsborough ISD. This is something that we do each year with Hillsborough ISD, and it basically lays out these following responsibilities. It's a mutual aid agreement between us and the HISD that they can use a portion of the Hill County Exhibits building as part of their emergency plan. The basics of this, if there was to be a reason, a disaster, an attack, or whatever it may be, this allows them to show the state that they have something in place already that allows them to use the building. You know, we're going to allow you to use the school no matter what. That's never a question that we would allow them to do that. It's just they have to have this because of state requirements now after some changes in the law in the last several years. So I make a motion that we approve this interlocal agreement between Hill County and Hillsborough ISD. It's mutual aid agreement, forgive me, between Hill County and Hillsborough ISD. Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries. This the 20th day of the month. They'll probably come looking for that shortly. Oh, and page 2, as Paul Harvey would say. Number 5, discuss and or action on Hill County Records Management Retention Policy. Okay. This has come about because I made some pretty strong statements a while back about the Hill County Support Services building. That's our record storage. We're finding people taking stuff down there and dumping it in mass, and I ain't gonna allow it. I don't like it. Karen doesn't like it. Kathy down there that helps clean it don't like it. Nobody likes it. I'm not calling anybody out, but I expect everybody, when that stuff comes down to that building, to follow these rules I'm asking you gentlemen to implement today. And it's very straightforward. To come to this building, the Hill County Support Services building, record storage, for record storage, the records must be boxed and labeled with the following information: office name, box number, record number, date of contents, date of record, name of contents, date of records, date sent to storage, date to destroy, marked permanent if it's applicable, because some stuff is permanent. Boxes will need to be placed on shelving in designated areas, and destroy dates should be checked every 6 months and shredded or moved to the shredder staging area. I think that's just general housekeeping. There's nothing here that's out of the way. There's nothing here that you got to go back to the library commission and file something new. We're just getting junk dropped down there like it's a nice place to throw something. And forgive me, I'm a bit of I can't talk to my office, but I'm a bit of a neat freak when it comes to these kind of things.
Well, we don't have a Marshall building anymore.
Exactly. So we're breaking some really old habits that have developed around here. But again, not calling anybody out by name. I just want to make it known going forward. Don't bring that stuff down here if it's not boxed and ready for storage. When it leaves the office, it should be boxed, ready, numbered, the whole 9 yards. Because, you know, I would think personally, as the owner of a record, that you would be concerned if you threw it down there and you came back and it wasn't there, because that could possibly happen. If somebody doesn't know what it is, something could happen. Somebody could shred it by accident, and then you're still responsible for it as the office holder. So I'm just asking that the court approve this set of guidelines, this policy, if you will. As it sits currently, we can always review it, add to it later if we need to, but hopefully putting this up around the building a little bit will let folks know that that's what we expect. Yes, ma'am. I don't have a map in front of me. You know where the big shredder is?
It's right in the very center, not where the gym used to be, the room, just.
So.
And then the one that's,
Okay, coming back toward the office area is the next little cubby hole area.
it used to be the kitchen, didn't it?
I think it used to be where they wash the clothes.
It was the laundry. Okay, it was the laundry.
And I want to make sure that Susan is aware that one of the previous auditors calls just were offset by random staff members, and that's
Fair.
her fault.
It's not her fault at all. We completely understand that. Well, so we worded it this way to be careful not to throw bombs at anybody, because some people have inherited a mess, no doubt about it. And we're not trying to force folks to do something immediately, just anything new going down there. I'd love it if we all got time to do what we need to do and clean up, but anything new going down there needs to be boxed as of today, moving forward with the correct labels and dates. And if there's any questions, if you need assistance in figuring that out, call us. We're more than happy to help. We're not trying to tell everybody anything other than, look, we need to keep it space clean and neat. I detest building more space for heating and cooling records, but it's a necessity for us. So if we can keep things organized down there, and I think the clerks, Nicole's done a great job, you know, the district clerk's done a good job. They really set a pretty high bar for us, and to have a record storage facility finally after all these years where all of our records under one roof has just been great. So,
Most improved.
all right, motion is second, and I want to thank Karen McClendon for putting this together and bringing this forward to us. So motion is second to approve the Hill County Records Management Retention Policy for the Support Service Building. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, this motion shall carry. Thank you very much. Number 6 is observe and record the Hill County Emergency Service Disaster District #1 financial statements for the year ended September 30th, 2023. So September 30th, 2023, you find in your packet, you'll have the independent auditor's report. The first page of that auditor's report is the basic information. It lays out that Bill Sanders, or William B. Sanders, I know him as Bill, is independent auditor in this matter. He does a lot of small entities around Central Texas and has a very good reputation. It goes through his basis of opinion, his responsibilities, and his audit of the financial statements and other reporting governmental requirements. And you see the financial highlights on page number 4. ESD's assets exceeded its liabilities by 1.5 million and change as a net position for the fiscal year reported. This compares favorably with the previous year when assets exceeded liabilities by 1.2 million due to the current year surplus of 22,69390. So they've got they're managing the money well. Total net position is compromised as the following: unrestricted net assets of 1.3 million and capital assets of 1.97 million. The overview of the financial statements: it's a government-wide financial statement, fund financial statements, and notes to financial statements. They find that there are no material findings in this audit, which is the highest standard you can. You never want to see a material finding pop up on an audit because that is no good. You come over to page 6 and it talks about their summary of their net position. You can see where current assets, their total net position for FY22 and FY23. And then the bottom of that page is the summary of changes in the net position over those 2 years, which equal out to the aforementioned numbers I mentioned on the first page. You go through the rest of this document. We're going to have a statement of net position of government fund balance and assets, liabilities, fund balance, net position, which is 1.331,253 million. And then so their total net position of $1,529,210. So all that being said and done, this is a solid report. We thank you for getting it to us. And is there any questions regarding ESD? What kind of Emergency Service District #1 financial statement for the year ended September 30th, 2023.
Make the motion for it.
All right, we have a motion and a second to observe and record the Hill County Emergency Service District #1 financial statements for fiscal year FY23 or the year ended September 30th, 23. Any further discussion? I know you're looking at me like you got something to say. I saw you reading the numbers of the question, doing some math. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed, any abstention? Sorry, I needed some more caffeine. This lack of sleep is starting to catch up with me. Number 7, discuss and or action on bonds. Today we have bonds for notary public errors and omissions blanket bond for both the Hill County Courthouse and the Sheriff's Office. And we have continuation certificate bonds for Pamela Ward and Carrie Price down at the CSCD, Community Supervision, Community Service Community Supervision. And those are the bonds for the day.
Make a motion for it.
Motion and a second to approve the aforementioned bonds. Any further questions? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Any abstentions? The ayes have it, the noes know it. It passes. Number 8. Now I know this seems early, and for you playing along at home, what we're going to talk about, discuss an action the Hill County Christmas party. Why are we talking about a Christmas party in open court? Because the state of Texas says that for the commissioners to discuss something amongst themselves, we have to have a stated meeting and a proper way to do it. And since the commissioners court is the one that runs the Christmas party for the county employees, this is the only way that we can legally talk about this. So bear with us for a second when we talk about the county party. So at this time, I understand there's a lot of planning going on behind the scenes and that's awesome because I don't want to be responsible for party planning. So thank you. Thank you, Ms. Pam. I really appreciate that. A couple of questions. I guess, Rachel, what all do you think that we need to cover today?
Clarity's wife was mentioned December 18th works for her, and since she's the one who hosts this event for us, we would fit good with dates.
I think that's a great day. What's going on that day? We got to move forward or anything?
It's on a Wednesday.
December 18th. Wednesdays are nice. Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah, no, perfect. Sounds great. Christmas luncheon. Yeah,
Which is good.
yeah.
Because mine's the 19th.
Perfect. There we go. But what we're trying to do this year too is last year, unfortunately, we didn't do this early enough and plans were made beforehand and we couldn't get everybody on the same page. And we want to make sure all the employees are recognized and understood at the same time. Because it's not just really our Christmas party and a recognition banquet for the employees, years of service and special awards and things like that. So I'm glad to hear that. So everybody's good on the 18th. Awesome.
My decorator has been questioning me about it and I've been getting calls about other dates. Anyway, that's her only open date that she can do this.
So I make a motion, we make it the 18th. Yeah, motion second, all in favor? I passed. Good. So what else we got to do on the Christmas party?
It's about the catering.
Mhm.
So we've always been committees.
Yeah, great dude.
Before, I think it was someone else was providing, maybe commissioner or something.
We commissioners used to cook brisket, but that got dangerous, so we don't do that anymore. It did, yeah, it did rotate. You know, we could bring that back. Not this year, Miss Pam's got it.
Do we need to sketch who wants to serve the meal?
Well, I guess the question first would be, what are we thinking of serving? Because in the years past, we kind of said, okay, we'll serve this, serve that. And what do people think about that? I mean, I guess, you know, my diet is pretty straightforward, protein and vegetables.
So I'm getting text with Tony about whether he'd be the one to do it this year or not.
So I guess what are we looking for in the meal? I mean, is there anything in particular or do we want barbecue? Do we want turkey and gravy? I mean, what is it? Do we need to solicit that and come back to the next meeting and talk about it?
That's what I'm.
Okay, so something different than barbecue. Okay, what's that?
Enchiladas.
Enchiladas. Everybody can go take a nap after work. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, the Conquistador did it. So I tell you what, can we kind of reach out to the employees and maybe get a consensus of what we'd like this meal to look like or just ideas people would like?
That would probably be the best thing to cover.
Okay. Well, let's, okay, so, I don't want to take forever to do this. What's the best way to do this? I use my executive privilege as the presiding officer of the Hill County Commissioners Court to anoint a committee of 2 to research and talk about what the mill shall be. Oh, look, 2 volunteers right there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, there you go. Yeah, man, that's really nice. You guys. That's great. That's great.
I'll let you know, I don't like what you told me.
I'll be the first to do that.
Yeah.
First of May, that's it.
Yeah. So, those are the deals. So we've got the date, Miss Pam, as always, Miss Crump has been wonderful to us, decorating whatever she needs. But, if everybody, let's do this to make it easier. If you got an office, you got a say in this thing, give one of these 2 guys a holler. And
text Jim.
And that way they can coordinate. You don't have to hold a meeting every 2 weeks to have a discussion regarding what we're thinking we're going to do for the meal we're going to serve the employees this year. Again, we're up for anything. I get it. We've done barbecue several years. Mr. Easterling's a wonderful human being, make great barbecue. Make some other good meals too. But there's also other providers out there. So all that being said, let's just get an idea of what it is we want to do and we'll go from there.
We still use this vendor. Maybe
Oh.
just change up the.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to play favorites with anybody, just, whatever it may be, I'm open to it, but yeah, you're right, we've done that for a lot of years, and it might be time to look at a more holiday style meal.
Tommy said he liked fish.
I remember a year frying. I remember when Judge Harris used to hold a big banquet downstairs? I remember one year we were frying turkeys out in the median of Franklin Street out there and bringing them in here. That was about the most unsafe thing we've ever done. It was good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That was really good. And I hate turkeys, so I thought that was great.
Just let Jim know and I'll get it set up.
All right.
A shared responsibility.
Stability. That's right. This burden is easier with two. So anyway, so that's our Christmas party analysis for the moment. Don't worry, we'll come back to it at a later date. We just had to start getting that done. And again, we have to talk about it here because of the quorum rules. We don't want to violate those at any time. So the easiest way is just to hold this conversation. So thank you guys for bearing with me. Moving along to number 8 then, which is discussion action on number 9, discussion action on certification of revenues. Ms. Swilling's given a certification of revenues this morning. One is for the jail for TAC insurance reimbursements. It's $11,574 for vehicle repair. And then we have next certification of revenue.
It's not just the jail,
Oh.
it's the sheriff and the DA.
Yes, ma'am. I see that now. Kill County may adopt a special budget. County Judge Lewis requested the reimbursements be budgeted back to repair lines for various departments. So I'm going to do the certification and go to the budget amendment second. So we're going to certify 11,547 of that revenue. We will come back to the second half of that for the budget amendments. The second page is certification of precinct 1 FM lateral contributions. That's for Hill County Road 1414 that they've had people contribute to in order to do that chip seal in the amount of $46,500. We previously accepted that donation. Now we're certifying it. Certification of revenue for precinct 2 FM lateral sale of fixed assets to precinct 1. What'd you stick him with?
I just paid for the balance of that.
There you go.
We split.
In the amount of 40,000, it wasn't previously a budgeted or anticipated. Certification of revenue for precinct 3, Cadix Auctioneering. I know you sold some stuff a while back and thank you for Susan tracking that down. An amount of 92,500. Certification of revenue for Road and Bridge Precinct number 4, equipment financing. And that was in April of 24 through government capital in the amount of 144,998. Certification of revenue for Road and Bridge Precinct 4, sell of fixed assets to Precinct 3. There's $120,000 from that sale of fixed assets from 4 to 3 that we need to certify. Again, we already had the for there, but now we didn't budget or anticipated it for. We have to go through this process to clean our books up. Certification of revenues for precinct number 4, FM lateral, Purple Wave auction, Hill County with $35,800 from sale of equipment. And those are the certifications of revenue. We'll come back to the amendments in a second. Is there any commentary on certification of revenues?
My packet's missing, precinct 1 and 2.
She updated them just this morning with some additional ones. She sent them to us about right before 9 o'clock last night. Sorry, the packet we got you last week did not include those.
Make a motion for you.
Okay. Motion and a second to approve. Is there any further questions? Certification of revenues. Hearing none, I call the issue. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Now let's move on to number 10, which is discussion of approved budget amendments. So on those budget amendments, we've got quite a few. You remember we just did the proceeds of 11,547, of which $1,293 goes DA repairs, 8,037 SO repairs, and 2,217 go into jail repairs. On the FM1 contributions, that money goes into FM lateral contributions. So that'll be account number 211-370-020, that 46,500. On precinct number 2, you'll sell of fixed assets goes into the account number 212-379-100, the amount of 40,000 previously, or just a minute ago, certified revenue. Precinct 3, again, the sale of fixed assets that goes in the revenue account 213-379-100 to 92,500 from the sale at the auction, Cadix auction. Proceeds from capital lease for precinct 4, we have a revenue account of 204-380-200, an amount of 144,998, and then in the expenditure side, that's going to go into the capital outlay in the same amount, which is the 7104-4101 line. On the next page, we have precinct 3. We're putting the sale of fixed assets in the amount of 120,000 into proceeds, and that will go into revenue 9, 204-379-100, and that covers the sale of property from 3 The 4 in the money. Yeah, exactly. 4-3. Thank you. Precinct 4, sell of fixed assets. Again, that goes in the revenue line 214,379,100, amount of 35,800. And then we have the DA grant revenue. We've already got the grant revenue. We're just cleaning the books up, and that would be a budget amendment in the amount of 175,000. That's going to go into a newly created account. That's 172,360,400 for the revenue side. And then on the expenditure side of the house, on that new account that Susan has set up for us, that you will see the numerous different ones for staff wages, salary supplements, social security, unemployment, retirement life, workers' comp, and health insurance, and those amounts equaling that aforementioned $175,000. Then last but not least, we have a budget amendment, and that is expenditures from the district attorney contingency fund. And that first one is adding, subtracting $6,455 from contingency. That's 1103, 7602. And then adding that to DA repairs in the amount of of 6,455, the same for the repairs. And that would be an account number 105-2107-3107. Those are the aforementioned budget amendments today. Any questions, Jim?
Make motion approved.
Second.
Motion is second to approve aforementioned budget amendments. Is there any discussion, questions? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. I think that's one page. I'm going to sign each one of these budget amendments. And I know it's a lot, but it's important that we keep our paperwork straight. And each one of these will require a signature from you gentlemen. So I'll be sending these around in just a second. When I get done, I fear letting this meeting end without doing this because everybody is busy as all get out, and trying to track folks down for signatures at a later date it can be interesting to say the least.
Is that what most of it called, Susan?
I think so. You might have one more, but I was wanting to let these settle and next board, I was gonna give y'all a report for June, so it would reflect those numbers.
Okay, good deal.
They look good.
And I'm sending the 2 minutes around from earlier. Number 11, discussion action on burn ban. Gentlemen, we've had this on last week, Tuesday. We were still at 545, the magic number for the Keep Dry Drought Index. To say that we are in drought conditions is 575. Where we stand this morning, Tom? 610.
Make a motion.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second to approve burn ban? Mr. Goins, ESD1 is responsible for fire suppression majority of the county. What is your opinion, sir?
This has been one heck of a year. We have July was not a Texas July. August is the first month we got hot. We've still got grass in the ground. We got fuel out there and everything else. It just was gone.
Okay, so you're in favor of a burn ban?
I'm in favor of the burn ban.
All right, I have a favor to ask ESD1, and this goes back several years. We fought the state, and I mean literally fought the state, to get some burn ban signs put up around the county. Their own state right of ways, their own poles or little flip down signs that say burn ban. Can you get your departments to go out and maintain those signs, to put those signs down, let everybody know there's a burn ban in existence? Yes, sir. And there's a lot of them misses.
I have audited the precinct 1 barn banks and out of, it's been a minute since I've done it, out of 15, I think there's 3 standing.
Yeah, we're gonna go. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mr. Goins.
Back when we got the signs, the Commissioner Court bought the signs and put the signs up. And then the State Department come in and worked on the highways, they tore the signs down, the posts down and everything else. And we've only got 1 or 2 signs left in the county. We don't know what happened to the signs.
Well, that's okay. Would you guys be interested if we found more signs? Would you help us maintain? If we bought the signs and got them up, could you guys help maintain them?
We don't have a problem, the departments don't have a problem putting the signs up. I don't even have a problem, because that's how a lot of them got put up in.
You're right. You guys, the fire departments did put up a lot of them. You're correct.
And the state wouldn't even tell us what they did with the signs.
The state wasn't happy about it. They didn't want that to happen. We got rejected several times, the local and then the district level. And we had a very, very fine state representative at that time who he carried a lot of weight. Really good guy. He just passed away recently. Mr. Pitts, God rest his soul. Anyway, he managed to get that become a reality for us.
They put, restrictions on how we could put it, what post we could put it on and everything else. They give us their guidelines and that's what we followed and everything else. But that's how we lost the signs also.
Okay, and I get it. I know it's not y'all's fault. Please don't think I was pointing fingers at. I know that just it hasn't been. My inclination is to maybe this next week or into this week, if I can get a breath on Friday, to call down to TxDOT and set up a meeting with their local engineer and let them know what our intent of doing is. That way, if they're going to throw any objections up, we know up front. But I think those signs were a worthwhile venture. It gets the message out easier. We actually have a burn ban flag that we're going to fly here as well. Let the public know. It's one of those things you'd think we put a burn ban on, gets in the radio, gets in the paper, everybody know. That is like the most honest, the most difficult phone call I have all the time. Is a burn ban, is a burn ban, is a burn ban. So we're just trying to get the message out to people. Again, burn ban keeps honest people honest, just like a lock. A lock keeps an honest man honest. We're still going to have fires. I will tell you, I've taken up trying to get some weight off and walking in the early morning hours. The number of people dragging chains on 933, both north and south, is insane to me. The number of sparks that I see coming off it just in the mornings when I'm walking my 3 miles. I ask everybody to be overly conscious and aware of their activities. Take a few moments, check your loads, check your chains. Those are the worst fires for us because Blum a couple years ago, fire sets over a period of 3-4 miles. Well, then it takes off in that brush country. We're fighting a fire that's huge. You're not talking a couple of acres, you're talking a couple of 100 acres. And every asset in the county and surrounding counties have to come to that. So we ask you, if you farm, if you're construction, if what you just pulling trailer, whatever it is. Yeah, that welder business. Yeah. Just behave. Pay attention to what you're doing. Make sure you're not causing damage to other people. You wouldn't want people to do it to you. So I just ask everybody to take a moment to be careful about that.
I have GPS coordinates for where all of those signs were. Ken, if you want me to get those to you, I can.
So
We have conscientious people, got them trained over the years and everything. Else.
Give me.
Stupid things that goes on and everything else.
Give me.
Any help is welcome. Work with anybody and get the departments to work with you.
Okay, well, what we're gonna do is get a list of signs if we can find where the old locations were, and then go back out to TxDOT and hopefully do something with that. But anyway, that being said, this burn ban will be under the local government code. This is not a declaration of disaster. Burn ban of 418 in the government code. So with that being said, I propose that this burn ban be one that limits outdoor burning to only cooking grills, well, barrel, whatever. It's got to be covered. It's got to be a cooking device. No unintended fires. And if you're going to weld outdoors, you must have some form of fire suppression available that meets our requirements. And we will issue that order and transfer it both onto our website and to the newspaper as soon as this meeting is over. So. What's that? 90 days. I mean, yeah, 90 days is the maximum duration of a burn ban. I promise you it won't last 90 days. It will rain. I don't know, I believe in my wife's tales, but we had a pretty big fog that it should be about September 1st. We're going to, right around Labor Day, between 1st and Labor Day, we're going to see some rain here, I imagine. And usually by the time we put a burn ban on, like 72 hours later, it starts raining anyway. But we can always, this is the law, the legislature's changed the law. We have the ability to rescind that burn ban for the last couple of years. So we'll put the burn ban on for the 90-day duration, and should the need for it no longer exist, we'll come back to the later commissioners court and remove it. So. All right.
Talking about signs, our street signs disappear all the time.
Everything disappears, yes, sir.
Whenever they change out a regular sign, it's sometimes.
I think they do too. So, all right, in which case, we have a motion and a second approving a burn ban for Hill County to last for a duration of 60 days under the local government code. That's 90 days, 90 days, sorry, 90 days under the local government code. More coffee is needed. I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. We're now under a burn ban for the next 90 days until lifted. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, as much as I dislike executive session, I do have to have a executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551-087. The Commissioners Court will convene an executive session for deliberation regarding economic development negotiations. I request that the commissioners stay in here and our attorney, Mr. Holmes, stay in. This shouldn't take more than about 5-10 minutes and we'll come back. What's that? Forgive me, we're not going to do the second one. Oh, thank you so much. There is a second There's a second executive session I was told originally we might need on here for regarding personnel matters. We are not convening into executive session for personnel matters. We do not need to discuss that at this time. That's pretty much resolved itself, or I think it's resolving itself, I should say. If it's needed, we'll do it at a later date. So we're just convening into executive session regarding economic development.